Now, I'm sure that many, if not all of you, have heard of meditation, and you may think to yourself, well, that's not for me, it's hocus pocus, it's hippie bullshit, and it's something that Casey does yoga's. If that's a real channel, I apologize, but if, it's just something that people do to feel high in my. I can't do meditation. Meditation is for sissies. Well, generally speaking, around the culture of meditation and self-care, I generally agree with you. The entire culture is more self-serving than it is self-helpful. However, there are techniques of breathing and forms of meditation that have been handed down through my clan for a very, very long time. And it's things that everyone in my clan practices to this day. Now, these are not your traditional meditation styles, and they're going to differ a lot from things that you've seen in popular media, and they are not intended to be the same. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. My primary culture is Norse Gaelic. That's where my family and my grandfather's family, that is where we are descended from primarily, okay? Now, I know that this is not my usual type of content, so if you are not interested, you can definitely feel free to scroll on to the next one. This is going to be sort of a guided meditation video. Now, strictly speaking, the Celts and the Norse folk, the Vikings, they didn't have meditation like you would see in Asian cultures in like India and Japan and China. These types of meditations are similar, but the techniques that I'm going to show you were developed by people who were busting their ass working hard in manual physical labor every day, and who lived in absolutely extreme cold climates and temperatures. I've had people asking me for a long time for more daily ritualistic sort of things that can be done in your daily life, that can be added to your routine as a part of keeping the traditions and culture of the tavern. And I figured that this would be the easiest way to do it, sort of a guided meditation video. Now, I want to note that the first sets that we're going to be doing, the initial learning of this, definitely not the way that my ancestors did it. Now, there's a reason for that. As I mentioned, these techniques were developed by men who were doing hard physical labor in blistering cold every single day of their lives. And I would assume most of, if not all of you, don't live your lives that way. So the beginner techniques start with things that seem like very rudiment meditation, breath focus, body scanning. You've heard probably all of these buzzwords. I'm gonna go over those things with you here in this video. It'll be probably about a 5 to 10 minute video, and you can feel free to use these techniques anytime that you like. And if after a couple of months of using them, you get a fun result, you can feel free to come on back here or to any future videos in this ilk and let me know what it did for you. Now, I'm not going to claim any sort of scientific backing for any of these things, because there isn't outside of these scientists who are in my family, who are doctors and so on. So these are cultural traditions handed down through the family. So let's get ahead of the people who are going to hop into the comments and ask, where are your sources? Where are your sources? Cultural tradition handed down through family. I'm family. I'm the source. If you don't trust the source, you don't have to do the thing. That's all there is to it. So, with that being said, let's switch the scene a little bit and get a little bit more comfortable. Now, I'm going to bring my tone down a little bit so that you can relax while you listen to this, because it's very important that you focus while you are going through these tactics and techniques. You're going to be focusing on learning two fundamental things. One is control over your breath, and the other is control over your muscular system. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourself that, oh, those are all things that I already have. I use my muscles and my breath on a daily basis. Believe me when I say that when you learn these techniques, at least for me and my family going back several generations, it can do things like help with pain, help with stiffness, it can help you become more agile, it can help with muscle growth, it can help increase flexibility, it can help you stand the cold or the heat better. There are a lot of things that can be gained from learning these techniques well, and you can also lower your risk of injury when you do things that are at high risk of injury, like sports, like hiking, any sort of thing where you might hurt yourself. If you get good at doing this and you combine it with regular exercise, it can be very helpful. I don't expect you to take my word for that. I don't expect you to just believe it. But if you would like to try and learn, all I have is the anecdote that me and my family use it, and it works very well for us. So we're going to start first with breathing. The first technique that we're going to learn is called the long breath, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a constant in and out without pause. It is a long in and a long, slow out. Long in and a long, slow out. Do not do this in through your nose and out through your mouth. That is a technique that is part of what we will learn later on. This specifically is all through the nostrils, and while you do it, you need to expand your nostrils, widen them out as far as you can. Let your lungs stretch as you reach the apex and strain them as you go out. You want to make sure that every breath is brought into its maximum and breathed out to its maximum. This long breathing will give you more of a focus on your lungs so that you have a better idea of the capacity of them. So we're going to do some of these together. I'm going to turn on some music. You sit back, kick back and relax, and we'll go through a few of these, and then we'll move on to a little bit more of an advanced technique of breathing that you can practice in kindred with this one. Make sure that you're comfortable. You do not have to be sat in a traditional meditation position. You can lean up against a pillow in bed, you can sit on a mattress, you can sit in a comfortable chair. Just make sure that you are sitting upright with your abdomen and your torso extended so that you can get maximum usage out of your lungs. Now, once you are seated comfortably in a position that you can stand sitting comfortably for 5 to 15 minutes, close your eyes and focus in on your chest. Focus on your lungs. Really pay attention to the feeling of breathing. Know where your apex limit and your out limit is. Take your first deep breath in, and then slowly let it all the way out. Make sure that your nostrils are expanded to their maximum capacity through this so that you're bringing in the most amount of air and you're letting out the most amount of air that you can in a slow and controlled breath that is dictated purely by the strength of your lungs. Breathe in and then breathe out. Now, for anyone that is more seasoned at meditation, this is very rudimentary. Almost every type of meditation in existence will teach you a similar tactic. What is going to be different is how we utilize this later on. Every one of these things that you will learn will turn into an active breathing technique or an active muscle control technique. But for now, let's focus on relaxing. Feel as your lungs expand, feel them hit their limit. Hold for just a moment and then breathe out. Once you've done this for 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be ready to start practicing the next technique, which is the out hold. Now, in many types of lung training, you will train to hold your breath on the in, and in some deep sea diving training, you learn to hold your breath on the way out. Now, this helps in situations where high pressure is around you, such as in scenarios where there are explosions, if you so happen to be in outer space, or sometimes in deep depths under the water. Learning how to do an appropriate out hold can prevent your lungs from exploding in extreme situations. After you've taken your long, slow, deep breath in, breathe all the way out, and then hold there until it becomes uncomfortable. And as you end, do not breathe back in very quickly. You might get lightheaded and it could be very dangerous. You want to make sure that the in-breath remains slow and controlled, which is why you want to use the slow, long breath in and the slow, long breath out. This will keep you in balance, so you want to master that, or at least get decent at it before you attempt to do the out hold. So you breathe in, and then hold. And then breathe in, and then out. This hold will feel uncomfortable, just like holding your breath for a long period of time. You will eventually get used to it. Your lungs may ache as you practice this. This is normal, but if they start to hurt, you are probably doing it for too long, and you may need to dial back a bit. Be very, very careful with the way that you do this. You can injure yourself if you push yourself too far. Your primary objective needs to be to hold the out until it becomes uncomfortable, and then slowly breathe back in. You'll eventually get to a point where you can hold the out for 15 to 40 seconds. A good median place to be is between 10 and 15 seconds after you've become practiced. You don't need to try and do it for any longer than 5 to 10 on the onset. We've gone over breathing. I want you to learn a technique called body scanning. Now, this again is a very traditional technique that goes along with many types of meditation, but the way that we do it is slightly different because its function has a different purpose. So as you're sitting, wherever it is you are sitting, take and close your eyes. Have a controlled long in-breath, long out-breath. Start by focusing on the breath. Keep the breath in the forefront of your mind, and you're going to feel silly doing this at the start. But the reason why you are focusing on your breath and why you're going to focus on the different parts of your body during the scan is so that you can eventually use that awareness to better utilize your breathing for when you are performing strenuous activities, and better utilize the appropriate muscles for similar strenuous activities, whether that is exercising, sports, fighting, extreme situations, whatever it may be. This will help you to increase your ability to perform those actions. As you sit, performing your long breaths in and out, let your mind focus on your lungs, the feeling of them expanding, and then the feeling of them draining. The strain as they go all the way out, and then the feeling of the air passing into them through your nostrils. The temperature of the air. Focus on the little details from around you. Then take a moment. Focus on the top of your head. Focus on what it is you're feeling on the top of your head. The top of the head is easy because it is a point that we don't normally focus on, but that it is fairly easy to focus on. Focus on any feelings, whether it's an itch in your hair, whether it's the feeling of moisture from a shower that was just finished, sweat on your brow, whatever it may be, focus on that feeling, become aware of the feeling. And then slowly take that sense and move down your body. Move to your shoulders. Feel any tension that may be there. Feel any pain or soreness. Many of us keep a lot of pain and soreness in our shoulders and upper back. Feel that. Take a moment, see if there's a way that you can relax and let that pain, that stiffness sort of fade away. If there's any position that allows you to let a little bit of that tension out. And move down to your abdomen, feeling once again your lungs and the way that your abdomen feels as it expands and deflates. Then move down to your thighs. If you're sitting cross-legged, you'll feel a particular tension in your hip flexors. That's where your thighs meet your hips. You're going to feel particular tension there. Focus on that feeling and how it makes the rest of the leg feel. Then go all the way down to your calves and your feet and focus on any sensations there. And once you've done this, once you've gone from top to bottom, I'm going to start back at the top. And move something on each part of your body. At the top of the head, maybe shrug the eyebrows, clench the jaw. Feel what it feels like to make that movement. Feel how it affects the rest of the area around it. Then move down to the shoulders. Flex a muscle in the shoulder, perhaps in the back. Feel how it affects the muscles around it. Do it down through your arms. Flex each individual muscle. See which ones you can manage to flex and which ones you can't. Move down to the abdomen. On an in breath, flex the stomach. See if you can flex the lower muscles of your back. Then moving down to the legs, see if you can flex your butt muscles. That may be a bit uncomfortable for some, but see if you can. Then move down to the calves and the thighs. The thighs first and the calves. Then make an unusual movement with your toes if you can. And once you've made it all the way through, you have successfully completed your first warrior's meditation. Now, I know that I'm going to be getting tons of crap from people in the comments on this. If this is not your particular jam, that's fine. This has been so widely requested, that's why these videos are coming out. These are things that I do almost daily and that all of the other men in my clan also do. There are meditations that are more specific to the women of our clan. This is a universal one. It can be done and is tailored for anyone who is a beginner, who is just coming into it. So any of you who are watching this, you can use this in your daily lives. And if you would like to see more of these and continue to learn these techniques that have been handed down through our family for thousands of years, please let me know in the cute section down below. And if you have any other questions or comments or concerns about this particular session, please let me know if anything was not clear or if anything needs a little bit more detail. You can of course always ask those questions again down in the Q section, that's the comments down below. Welcome to all of the new patrons of the tavern. I hope you are enjoying your stay so far. I know that this is a little bit unusual to come out right as so many of you have just recently joined the tavern, but regardless, I hope that you enjoy. Stay civil in the comments, my friends. Stay bloodthirsty, and remember, all hail the Black Dragons. See you in the next one.